So thank you so much to all of you for joining us. We have gaming, music, Web3, marketing, and sport, all in a line. As I said, the idea here is to understand what's going on in their industries from a very high level. But to start with, we're going to ask, who are you? Tell us a little bit about your company and what you do and where you're based. So Paul, starting with you, who are you?
Hey Jasper, hey everyone. It's great to be back. Jasper, thanks for bringing us all together. Paul's my name. I'm the CEO of Global Esports. We're headquartered globally in Singapore, but I'm based out of California, so it's great to be here.
Hi Jasper, I'm Wendy. I am actually a local girl, but I am based in Los Angeles. My company, Tap Music, we are in the business of artist management, and we manage artists like Lana Del Rey, Ellie Goulding, Noah Cyrus, Dermot Kennedy, and more.
She's amazing at dropping names, but in the nicest possible way. Prakash.
Hi everyone, my name is Prakash. I'm from ENJINSTARTER. We're a Singapore-based company. We started our journey as a launchpad, but we do a lot more ecosystem building. We have an innovation consulting arm where we're helping brands and Web2 companies to get into Web3, and it's been an awesome experience working with Jasper and his team, and we are proud to have present Web3 Matters over the next 2 days.
It is an amazing, and I know I'm supposed to say it's an amazing program because it is, because I haven't heard of any of the speakers. So you've absolutely ticked that box. Thank you, Prakash. Helen, tell us.
Hi, I'm Helen McRae. I'm the CEO of Mindshare Asia Pacific. I do live in Singapore, but I've only been here for about 4 months. So previously I was running Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And as part of GroupM and WPP being the biggest media agency, one of the big things that I'm hoping to learn from these sessions is what else is happening, because the great thing about media is we get to cut across all you guys and work across all the disciplines.
Fantastic. And of course, WPP are supporting the Marketing Matters lunch on Wednesday.
Yes, they are.
Kevin, tell us about who are you and what do you do?
Thanks, Jasper. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin McCullagh. I'm the editor for Asia Pacific at SportBusiness, and we're a B2B trade publication covering the global business of sport. I'm based here in Singapore, covering all the markets across Asia Pacific for the last 3 years, and delighted to be a presenting partner of the sports track at Sports Matters this year.
Yes, if you have a sports lanyard, you have his logo on the, and you got Prakash's logo as well. Nodwin's on gaming. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so Kevin, let's stay with you. What's going on in the Asia Pacific sports industry right now?
Well, I think first thing to say, Jasper, is that you know, the return of live events has just been so important and such a joy for everyone working in sport. Unlike some of the other industries represented here, maybe gaming, video entertainment, music, we can't survive completely online. We need those live events. That's the lifeblood of our industry. So for those to come back in such a strong way this year has been absolutely fantastic and so important. And you know, on one side you've got the live sports events, and then we've got events like this where the industry comes together. Very exciting, I think. I hope to see a strong sports contingent today. I've seen plenty of people here already. Because the sports industry is really a relationships business in this part of the world. And you know, relationships are forged face-to-face, I feel, at forums like this. Absolutely critical. And do you want me to talk a bit, Jasper, about, I don't know, what the sports industry wants to get out of all that matters?
Absolutely. What would you like to see discussed?
Well, you know, clearly, I think one thing that everyone's trying to get their heads around is Web3 and all the related concepts and what Web3 means for our business. I think there's a lot of excitement about it. Everyone can see some potential there, but we're trying to really see some use cases and understand where the utility is. Myself, personally, I think there's some potentially exciting utilities around creating communities. It looks like Web3 could be the new way of accessing or new gateways and portals to access all your favorite entertainment content, whether that's sport, gaming, and whatever else. But at the same time, there's definitely a bit of, you know, I wouldn't say fear, but a little bit of skepticism about some of the things we've seen so far. NFTs obviously blew up massively, including in sport in the last few years. How much of that activity was pure speculation in terms of, hoping to make a quick buck on selling something at a higher price that you bought at a lower price the day before. So I think that's the key thing. I'd say most sports industry people are coming here to figure out that Web3 landscape. And
ironically, I mean, what a true sportsman you are that you support the sports track and promote Prakash's Web3 track. Eh?
Take it away, Prakash.
Let's go from sport to music. Wendy, what's going on in the global business? What's happening with the Asian business?
Sure.
What's exciting?
Well, I'll just say that at TAP Music, we're in the business of artist management, like I said earlier, and as such, we are advocates for artists, right? And something that matters to me is having to create long and short form content for several different platforms that is so short-lived, it puts a lot of pressure on the artist and the artist team. It's all about quantity over quality, which frankly, I think it should be the other way around. I think there's very little room to think creatively. I mean, the burnout is real. Everyone is trying to catch lightning in a bottle and hoping for a viral moment to happen all the time. And the shift towards video content with high frequency of posting across multiple platforms because the algorithm rewards that. There was a big moment a few years ago, big movement, excuse me, that led social media platforms to remove or give the option of viewing likes. But now that we're back to chasing numbers and high performance on video views, we're back to that same issue. It's getting harder to find anything that looks like a unique aesthetic. There's a lot of reposting across the different platforms, just repackaging content from one to another. And it's not bad, but it does represent a change in how music fans relate and engage with each other on the platforms and how artists use it. I think it's, instead of a space for creation, it's becoming a space for distribution. I know that there will be several people here, many of whom I know, who would want to engage me on these topics. I'm absolutely looking forward to hearing solutions around this, particularly with Web3 coming into the foreground in the music business. I think that there are environmental, sorry if I'm going on a little bit, but there are environmental implications that in blockchain that is making me want to tread carefully, because it is something that is important to not just myself, my artists, but a lot of Gen Z in particular. I don't have the right vocabulary, but I think it's great to see that blockchain is changing and adapting. And it's almost like we're moving into a second phase of NFTs right now, even though I feel like it's still in its infancy. And everything is moving so fast these days that we barely have time to keep up. So moving into more phases without understanding the basic foundational knowledge of blockchain, what powers what, and the true value of what they're supposed to bring. I think that it's something that I have a lot to learn about, with the metaverse. And Prakash, I'm really looking forward to doing that this week.
Fantastic. I mean, it is interesting on an artist level. I mentioned this earlier with the art, not musicians, but the arts communities that I met earlier who they don't have business plans and stuff. Musicians really do need to learn that it's more than just creating the song, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's overwhelming to be an artist these days. Whether you're a developing artist or an established one, there is so much work, and a lot of that work is also helped by the team around the artist too. But honestly, that's why I'm excited about conferences like this, because I think this is where it's a meeting of minds and we can come up with solutions, and across different industries as well, like ourselves on this stage right now. I think there's a lot that we can pick up from each other.
Fantastic. We're going to go into marketing now. We're going to finish with Web3, you know that, Prakash, right? So Helen, what matters to the industry right now?
Well, I feel obligated to say Web3 because so far that seems to be the common thread. I mean, what's interesting is I was thinking about this morning when I was watching my UK pension die with all of the currency in free fall. But what it made me reflect on is actually here in Asia, we are at, we have a unique opportunity to, what I believe is to make the future of what marketing is from the disciplines we see here. You think about social commerce, you think about influencer marketing, you think about esports. All of those disciplines, all those marketing disciplines are amplified in this region, and we have the biggest opportunity. I think the center of gravity of marketing is going to move to this side of the world, which I am super, super excited to be here and to be part of it. You think about that, you think about the next billion members of the middle class in 2030, 2/3 of them are going to be here in Asia. So the opportunity in this market to have a seat at the table with global marketing is tremendous. And so that for me is like super exciting.
And you're actually hosting a session on Wednesday called Redefining Asia.
Yeah, did you see what I did there? Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Well, yeah,
see?
it is, because I think that the other thing about Asia is that for so long, many clients just assumed that Asia was going to be a source of growth. It was quite passive, you didn't have to do anything, it grew by itself. I think we've seen with the changes with China that we now have to lean in to understand more of Asia than what we have done before. And I think that we have the opportunity to add dimensions to that growth, around short-term and long-term growth, around sustainability, around the environment. How can we make that growth and make what we see in Asia reflect what we want it to be in the future?
Fantastic. So, Prakash, finally, you need to understand there's a lot of Web 2 people here who aren't necessarily going to understand. We don't have subtitles. So what's going on in Web 3? What's exciting in Web 3? And you can't use 3-letter acronyms.
Got it. Yeah.
That's for me.
So yeah, firstly, I've been attending your circuit for quite a number of years as a delegate. I spoke at the last event that you organized. I spoke on gaming matters. And when you wanted to do Web3 matters, we jumped on it because we knew that you will deliver quality and the quality of the attendees, right? It's a very, very unique platform. So the real purpose of why Web3 matters today is that, we're all living in this post-pandemic world where the pandemic became the greatest disruptor, right? All of us are now embracing technologies, and we're starting to see a lot of big brands get into the space. We're seeing a lot of musicians looking at Web3 strategies to actually build direct connections with their fans, look for new revenue opportunities. And it's all built around experiences, and that's really what we have done over the next 2 days. We've brought together quality speakers who have actually done projects. They're going to be sharing case studies. They're going to be doing a whole range of interactive stuff so that everyone can actually learn, everyone can actually participate. And for us, really, is to get this conversation going because it's not just about the content you're going to get from attending the conference, but all the other follow-ups, the networks that we're going to build together. And we have committed with Jasper to keep this an ongoing platform. Clearly, there's phenomenal value. So in terms of programming, we're honored to have Yatsu from Animoca Brands. They'll be speaking shortly after this. To me, he's the sage in the industry. He inspires all of us. And he has this ability of really, showing everyone how big an opportunity it is and how we are all now in this movement and how each one of us can actually play a key role. And following that, we moved the programming to Scape. We've got a massive venue there, 400 capacity, and we're going to be hosting the first mini SandBox Summit. And SandBox is an Animoca company. They are one of the largest decentralized metaverses, and the beauty about them is they have brought a whole lot of music. They worked with stars like Snoop Dogg, they work with luxury brands, and they have brought all of these guys onto the metaverse to create engaging experiences. Locally in Singapore, they launched the DBS presence, and it's called The Better World, and it's a great way that we can now use the metaverse to actually show impact. And that's one key thing that we have kept true in our programming. We've included a lot of tracks on how Web3 can change the way that we live, we change the way that we play, and also to change the way the world is. And lastly, we've also ensured that we included as much as we could speakers, moderators, and panelists who are women. And we feel, getting that balanced conversation is very, very important. Crypto typically tends to be a male-dominated industry, but we are here to change that. And we're very, very excited to be speaking with you guys and interacting and exchanging ideas and looking forward to the happy hour later. We all need a chill.
That's at Good Shit.
That was a good shot.
From 6 till 8. Look, standing room only. This is good. Prakash, let's stay with you. Talk about. Can you give us a headline or two that you're willing to talk about? What else is going on in Web3? What are you going to be talking about on the program?
Yeah, so we all are now in this pivotal place where we moved from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3. And really, this is where it's a big shift that's happening. It's no longer something that you can ignore, and you need to have a personal plan. You need to have a corporate strategy. And honestly, I've been in the industry for quite some time in digital. The brands tend to be a bit slower in adoption, but in Web3, we're starting to see brands being in the forefront. If you establish brands like DBS getting into the metaverse, that's really a huge achievement. And that's really the shift that we're seeing, but there's still a big need for education. And the real reason why you're doing it needs to be very clear. Otherwise, the community, takes it that it's a cash grab, or they don't see what is the real utility, that strategy is going to give. And that's really what we're going to bring out in the next 2 days. How can you bring utility? How can you bring the community together so that collectively we all can grow, we can co-create, and we can all have fun together.
Fantastic. So, and that's all going on. Like I said, that's going on at Scape this afternoon and all day tomorrow. Last but not least, the gaming side of things is so important to everything here, and it's led. I remember the first Gaming Matters we did. Actually, Gaming Matters is the longest running gaming conference in Asia outside of Japan. The first time we brought Gaming Matters together with everything else, I think we were at Marina Bay Sands. And when the gaming community walked into the room, it was like, wow. Because all these really cool kids that no one had ever seen before and stuff. So Paul, tell us more about Global Esports Federation, and tell us a bit about yourself, because you've got a fascinating background as well. But what matters to you right now?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I mean, the theme up here, which you inspired, Jasper, today is really about connection. I was really impressed by everyone talking about connection. And I think, Wendy, if I may say, I don't think it's only artists that feel overwhelmed. I think maybe all of us feel a bit overwhelmed. So I think that's beautiful. Our motto at the Global Esports Federation is around World Connected. That's our motto. And it's really about the joy and the fun, as you said, Prakash, about gaming and what that can bring to the world. And our 123 member federations, countries right around the world, 28 strategic and commercial partners that are helping us do that great work, headquartered in Singapore, launched 2.5 years ago to 945 million hits across our platforms, and we just came straight off the Commonwealth Esports Championships in Birmingham, England. The Commonwealth, some of you may know, is an organisation around about 100 years old, and we have a partnership with the Commonwealth, and they reached out to us and asked the question, what about esports? And actually the question they asked is, why not? So we staged the event with the Commonwealth Games Federation in Birmingham alongside the CGF, and we just got the results late last week, which was more than 5 million live views and more than 2 billion aggregated views, and that's without balancing out the BBC's coverage, which was amazing. I'll tell you a quick BBC story. BBC arrived at Birmingham in the International Convention Centre to check out this esports championships that we were staging, and they never left. They just stayed and stayed and stayed, and the content grew and grew and grew. So what we're really doing at the Global Esports Federation, from here tonight, as you know, Jasper, I'm flying to Asunción in Paraguay, which is 33 hours away, but we're staging our South American Esports Championships, and from there we'll be in Istanbul, Turkey, at the end of the year for our Global Esports Games. 65 countries, 300 athletes, standing on great stages, their time to shine. And along with all those adjacencies, whether it's business and whether it's community and whether it's brands, you start to see that stability, you start to see that foundation building where big brands are starting to really lean in. And all that stuff that we were talking about a couple of years ago, what's gaming about, what's esports all about, as we think about it through the lens of the future of entertainment, music, gaming, entertainment, how it's consumed, they're really leaning in. We're excited.
So what's exciting for the Global Esports Federation? You mentioned the events coming up and stuff, but sorry, what would you like to see discussed this week on stage? And by the way, we're going to be talking we're the first session up after lunch, just the two of us, so you can't go too much into what you're talking about there. But what would you like to see discussed this week at All That Matters?
Well, we'll be having a major announcement this afternoon after lunch, Jasper, with you, specifically for this region. But I think what I've been talking to folks about this morning, as I've been listening to people, is whether or not you believe in sort of a recession or a contraction coming forward, is how we all collectively can. Something I think we learned during pandemic is this notion around human connection. I don't know if everyone feels this way, but I do. I think that we got to know each other again a little bit better because we had to find ways to get to know each other. And what's come out of that is the ability to sort of sit together and help each other through problems. So I think what I've really enjoyed even this morning is listening, those conversations that used to be awkward and take long times are really short conversations. What are you doing? What am I doing? How can I help you? How can we do something together and do it? So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I think all of what I just described kind of, and just in terms of events, I mean, not less than 10 events next year with our Global Esports Games in 2023 heading towards Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And then we have a pipeline in 24 in China, 25 in Dubai, 26 in the United States, a massive pipeline. But all of that's not enough. We also really care about what we call our global social impact initiatives. So what do we do really around three main realms? Education and about the future of work. Health and wellness, which we think is really important, especially in the gaming community, sustainably over time. And also as we think about, the brands and sort of what we call the passion economy and the creative economy and how we can participate and help people unlock their true potential and create these sustainable and happy lives. Fantastic.
I'm going to turn this into the final question. By the way, people standing at the back, there are a few seats at the front. If you want to come and sit down, there's water, comfy seats. Wendy, yes. For the future, what's really exciting for you, tap music in general? What's coming up?
Well, I actually think on a personal note, I started my career in Asia, and it was not typical to see someone that looked like me in a leadership position. So coming back to Asia after all these years, you know, it's very gratifying for me to look around this room and see that has changed, as it's continuing to change. And on a professional level, I think everything that, Paul, you just spoke about, you know, like I think it's all very exciting, the Web3, the initiatives into the foray into the music business. And I feel I'm only comfortable speaking on behalf of artists and music fans, and I feel that this environment will probably lend itself to some solutions around the mental health issues that Paul just addressed, and also authenticity. And I think that is definitely something Prakash spoke about as well, and I think it's important when we're speaking about transactional deals and all that stuff, that we have to, at the end of the day, like keep in mind like what's real here, what's authentic, and speak in terms of human values, I guess.
We have a session on mental health for the Musik Academy tomorrow, where we have artists talking about their personal experiences as well. But yeah, absolutely. So Kevin, back to sport. Haven't heard of you for a while. What's really exciting for whether it's sports business, whether it's you, the sports industry? What's coming up next?
Well, I think, Jasper, go back to live events flooding back. In about 8 weeks' time, the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, will kick off in Qatar. And I think, once again, it'll underline the power of sport in terms of being able to engage hundreds of millions of people across the world. And that's, being able to engage those huge audiences and generate powerful emotional reactions is really our USP. Here in Asia, Asia Pac next year will have the Women's FIFA World Cup in New Zealand, Australia, and we'll also have the Basketball World Cup in Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So some really significant events in this part of the world. What I'd also hope and love to see next year is Hong Kong and China opening back up for sports events. If that happens, we could potentially see China's first Formula One driver with a Zhou Guanyu with a home race in Shanghai, which would be really exceptional and could help restart the sports economy there, which has obviously been absolutely battered in the last few years. Also very interested in new events and new sports businesses emerging, and I think there's quite a lot of opportunity, particularly I think in the last 10, 20 years there's been a huge growth in terms of, I would say, participation in sport from the point of view of, I think more adults are probably now participating in exercise, fitness and everything else, the growth of gym culture, fitness classes and mass participation in sports. I think there's probably more people engaging in sport than ever before, and I think there are opportunities there for our business, maybe the traditional big players to get involved and that, be part of that story. In a few weeks' time, I think Singapore have an interesting new event, the Tour de France Criterium, that will feature professional cyclists on the streets in Singapore, along with all the amateur cyclists in Singapore, which, if anyone, whoever lives here knows, that's absolutely exploded during the pandemic. Lots of middle-aged men in Lycra on the roads.
Oi, be very, very careful what you say.
No, just one example of something new events coming to this part of the world. And finally, what's been an exciting thing for me in the last year or so is that Singapore has become an even bigger hub than it ever was before for the sports industry. We've had several major organizations in our industry, the NBA, IMG, Football Marketing Asia, to name a few, moving more and more people into town. So there's a very big sports industry community here. I'm really looking forward to see that really gel in the next few years and see what it can produce.
Brilliant. And with the World Cup coming up, this is again, every Englishman in the room thinks that they're going to win. It's the triumph of expectation over reality, and then it all goes horribly wrong. Helen, what's really exciting? What's to look forward to?
Actually, I answer this probably on more of a personal level, which is I've got 2 boys, and I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to is being able to look them in the eye and talk about the initiatives that we're doing to take carbon out of all of the media supply chain. So how can we work with clients and with our partners, and as an industry, not just as groups, but as an industry, to make their future viable and sustainable.
Fantastic. Final word, Mr. Foster, without declaring what we're talking about this afternoon, because I actually don't know what the announcement is, but what's really exciting in your world? What's to look forward to?
Oh, there's everything to look forward to. We're a bunch of optimistic people. No, there's a ton to look forward to. I think that events are back. Everyone around the world. I went across our globally sport games across the next 6 years. There's 10 cities and countries that want to bid beyond that. Everyone's back and everyone's excited. I agree. The faster we can get all of the world back together in live events will be really powerful, not only for all of us, but also for the athletes and the players and the future generations that will be inspired by that. So we're certainly very optimistic and excited. And as some of the team up here said, I think this notion also that those authentic discussions about how we can help each other, how we can lean in, is the new normal.
Fantastic. Well, time is up. We've talked about the return of live. Yes. I mean, you don't get standing room on a Zoom call, do you? We've talked a lot about Web3. That really does matter. We talked about connections, but I think what was key that came out of this was also that Asia really matters and is going to matter even more. So hopefully we're in the right place at the right time, regardless of where sterling is at the moment. But Paul, Wendy, Prakash, Helen, Kevin, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the week and enjoy your sessions on stage. Thank you for joining us.